It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games. Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The question of the morning, a question that, I don't know if it haunts, that might be too strong, but it's a question that looms over a bunch of our local teams. How do you go from good to great? Pablo Mastroianni loves the topic. He's going to be on at 9 o'clock. RSL's facing that right now. They're a good team, but how do they get to be a great one? The Jazz, I know they've been terrible. I think they're about to be good. But that's not great, as they will find out when they bump into Oklahoma City or San Antonio in the playoffs, if they get that far. That's what great looks like. That's what they're chasing. That's why they broke up the last group. The Mammoth made it to the playoffs. That's good, but you want to go deep, and you need to be great. And it looms for BYU and Utah football and for BYU basketball. And I'm fascinated, Jake, because I think you're following this more closely than I am, but I'm following it, and from a distance, I think BYU's been good 2 years in a row. It was a great first year because you have to factor in that it was the first time most of that staff coached in college, Chris Burgess aside, but other than that, it was mostly pros, and the schedule was partially made for them. They inherited a team that was partly made to get to the Sweet 16, which BYU's only done a couple other times. I thought that was a great season. But then you remove that whole caveat, and now it's your schedule. You've got something, you got a feel for this. Not that you don't stop learning. We just covered that. They'll keep learning too. But I'm looking at this roster that's going together, and it's good. They brought in some good players. They've done some stuff that I wanted to see them do. There was a little bit of a local Utah all-star team floating around college basketball. Well, bring some of those guys home. You probably can't get them all, but bring some of them home, and they have. And they've gone out and it looks like they have another lottery pick. So they've done that. But I'm looking at the pieces come together, and if we define great as Elite Eight, which is why I want to set the bar right now, I don't think they have that. I think they have a first or second round tournament. Now, they're not done. They're still trying to bring guys in, but it's all still getting late. A lot of guys have committed here. Doesn't mean they won't bring in one or two key guys. Jake, am I off base, or are you looking like, yeah, they put together a nice team. It's an NCAA tournament team, but it looks like a team that goes out in the first week, not a team that goes out in the second?
As currently constructed, I think you're right. The biggest thing they're looking for is they got to find a true big man. That's what they've been looking overseas for. They've got a couple of guys who are in the NBA draft cycle right now that they're hoping will withdraw their name from the draft, and maybe they can scoop one of those guys up. There is a guy that's actually, funny enough, playing with Ricky Rubio right now in Spain. His name's Michael Ruzic. He's a Croatian big man that they're hot on the heels of. So if they can find a true big man that can offer them more than what their big man offered them last year, then I think they have the chance of making the run that you're talking about them having the goal of. But as currently constructed, it's probably a first weekend team.
They don't need, although it'd be awesome if they had it, some dominant 7-foot center. You can win at a very high level in college basketball with 3 6'10" guys across your front line. You can do it. It's been done.
They only have one 6'10" guy right now.
That's interesting that they're waiting on guys and it really makes sense, waiting on guys to pull out of the draft. And let's face it, you can influence that in a way that you didn't used to be able to. And that goes back to the boosters. The hard things that have to be done, some of them involve money. And that's why I set Utah State basketball aside from this discussion of good to great. Because I think for the money they had in the league they were in and everything they have, what they did is just about what they can do. Maybe they could win a second game and get Sweet 16.
Sure.
G5 teams aren't really going further than that anymore. So if you play G5 football, it's pretty hard. San Diego State did it a couple of years ago, and the door's kind of been slammed on everybody since then. So, but the more money, if BYU ponies up more money, will someone pull out? Why take a maybe in the draft if I got a sure thing of getting paid at BYU and I can go back in the draft a year later.
Well, and to your point, that's what they're kind of banking on right now. The name to know if you're looking at guys in the draft that BYU is held on the heels of, he's an Italian center by the name of Luigi Swigo. He's 7'2", he's 250 pounds. He's been playing in their top league in Italy for multiple years. He is currently slated to kind of be a first half of the second round right now. He's going through the NBA workouts. The thought process is if he does not move himself into the first round with his workouts, then he ultimately would probably take the guaranteed money that comes via NIL, multiple millions, because that's what a big man's worth right now in NIL, and that's where BYU can get into the fray. But they have to wait for him to ultimately go through these workouts and then decide, hey, I want to go the college route.
All right, that's intriguing. I mean, that does sound like that, not having ever seen him play, right? So let's just take that at face value. But not having seen him play, that does sound like the kind of player they need. That sounds like a pretty good match, and maybe that's what elevates them and turns them into that team that's playing in the second week. And we can sit here and talk Sweet 16, Elite 8, and you don't know how the matchups are going to fall, who's going to be healthy, who's going to have shots falling, who's going to get the calls and the free throws or the lucky bounce off the rim. But you still have a pretty good feel for a roster and what it looks like. And the cool thing is now you're in a league where you get tested and you can really set that bar. And if you don't match it, you have time to get better, identify your weaknesses, because somebody in this league is going to be playing in the second week, probably multiple teams, and you might have a Final Four team in this league, as they did just this past year with Arizona. So, but, I mean, obviously Houston's been really good. Texas Tech might put something together. I mean, you can go down the line. Iowa State's been very good, and I haven't even mentioned Kansas. I'm 5 deep before I get to Kansas. That's stupid to wait that long to talk about Kansas, given their history in basketball. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scotty G joins us next. Going from good to great, it takes money, and it takes vision. And maybe Scotty just got a glimpse of those two things in action. He will explain next. Stay with us. David Locke is coming up. He's going to join us at 8:30. Pablo Mastrioni is here at 9 to talk about going from good to great. We'll talk good to great with David Locke as well. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.